Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Got my late model open series race here for week 11. We are at Oxford Plains Speedway, and I unfortunately managed to find a really small field. I think there's 9 total in the session and only 7 are actually in the session, so we are car number 3. The 1 and 2 cars are really strong, so I can at least have a decent benchmark to see where I'm at compared to them, although I'm on a track that absolutely kicks my butt. I have just
Pit
never
lane
been able to
speed
figure
limit
out
is
Oxford Plains
30
at all.
miles per hour. All
I
clear.
can't drive
Pit
it
now.
quick and I can't drive
Okay,
it
Jake,
consistent.
we've
So
got 2
let's
laps
get to
to
see
get
what
the
I can
job
do
done.
in qualifying, see if I can put myself in either second or third. Just gonna go out, try to put in as fast of a time as I can. It's just all about running the thing right on the edge of the grip in a constant circle, and that's just not something I've ever been very good at. I either underdrive or overdrive it every time.
P2.
Second right now, no, I'm not going to be able to get the pace to get ahead of the pole sitter. He's just so much further ahead. He is my ultimate benchmark that I'm trying to build myself towards. And I actually go slower the second lap because I overdrove 3 and 4. Yeah,
That
it's
last lap was
really tough
a
for me to drive consistent.
15.64.
I'm trying my best on it. I'm working, and I'm going to continue working all week and may try to get a second one out if I can, find a bigger field, a little bit stronger field. But we're second by a tenth. I guess makes me feel a little bit better, but only 5 cars have turned in time. Like I said, 2 of them weren't even in the session, so starting
That's the
second,
end
not
of
the
the
best
section.
thing. Just
P2.
gonna make a switch over to the race setup. This is available on the Team Goon Squad website for download, and it's
Welcome, buddy. Nice left, Karen.
can definitely be pushed. Obviously, it's nowhere near as good as what the one ran, but I know a lot of what he ran is also in driving, and I could pick up quite a bit of pace if I could, learn how to drive this thing on the edge a little bit more. So it's definitely, I think I don't think it's a bad setup at all. I think it's a good, comfortable loose for here without being, um, too on the edge compared to some of them that I've driven before. So we'll grid it up, see what I can do. Starting on the outside, obviously not going to be the most ideal, but certainly just going to hope that maybe I'm quick enough to try to stay ahead of the 2 if qualifying actually translates to race pace, and try to tuck in behind the 1, just follow in, and then get in front of the 2. If not, the best thing I can hope for is to let the 2 by stay in front of the 9 and fall in third place where I should be. So like I said, only 9 cars in total. I think only 6 or 7 are even going to be in the race or at least grading up. So we shouldn't really have any problems, and it should be a fairly uneventful race. So we'll just see what we can do. I wish I could have gotten you guys a stronger field and a bigger field. I didn't know it was going to be like this. This time usually isn't this bad. I don't know if it's everybody watching the Coke Series race or if there's something else going on, but it's just don't seem to catch it at the right time. So figured with Oxford Plains being a little bit a free track, it would be a little more popular than what it was. So make the most of it though. Like I said, the 1 and the 2 should provide a good benchmark. I think the 2 or the 1's going to be absolutely gone, and I think I should be right in line with the 2. So should be able to hopefully have a decent battle for second and third place on the track, and hopefully come away with a second place
15
finish and at
laps.
least finish
P2.
where I start. Get the car fired up as we get ready to roll off the line for our 2 pace laps.
Stay behind the pace car.
Hopefully
The
this
outside
can
car.
go better than the North Wilkesboro race did. That's going to be kind of my my goal, is just to at least finish a little bit better than that race did in terms of contact and issues with other cars, but just going to see what we can do. Gonna keep an open mind. Hopefully, I'm more worried about myself making a mistake, quite honestly, whether it's clipping the curb and washing up or overdriving and self-spinning in the quarter. I'm more worried about that than anything, although given how it's going, I'm kind of worried about the 9 driving into the back of me under pace laps. But we're going to get ready to go 50 laps in a constant circle around the 3/8 mile Oxford Plains Speedway. Just going to try to get the most out of this that we can. We'll see when the 1 wants to go as soon as the pace car pulls off.
Okay, Jake. Here we go.
One gets a good jump.
Green, green, green.
Got the 2 to my inside, so just gonna have to concede the inside lane to him. That's just that disadvantage of starting second. I'm gonna get the 2 by and get in front of the 9 like I'd planned.
Inside. Clear on the inside.
Able to slot in front of the 9. We'll see if we can start pulling away. See the 2 get a little bit of a wiggle there. One's already out to an absolutely great start. Biggest thing is to ease into the brakes, really kind of just drag them for comfort, work the throttle to keep it on the right rear more through the corners, and you know, not really come out much past halfway on the track. I really don't like to come out past the groove.
That lap was a 15.71.
Just keep it as tight to the curbs and the corners as I can without touching them. That's the biggest thing I found for the driving line and the setup. So just keep working on the 2, try to hang with him. Hopefully burns off stuff a little bit quicker than I do. 9's falling back and a big gap behind him, which, like I said, with how weak this field is, I expected to be some pretty big separations, which means we could also get into lap traffic a little bit quicker than other late model races.
That lap time was 15.70.
Ideally would like to be somewhere around 3/4 of a second to 8/10 of fall off from fast lap to the end of the race.
That was a 15.
Let's see what I can do. 629 is certainly not as fast as I can run, but it's a pretty hot track compared to what I practiced in, so that's going to slow it down a little bit. Just got to make sure I don't overdrive it. 2 gets a little bit of the curb there. You can see how much it slows you down. Then it kicks way wide out of turn 4. I feel like this is one of the ultimate rhythm tracks in terms of short track racing because you're never really going straight at all. I do the same thing. I hit the curb. Messes me up for my entry into 1. 9's fallen way back, so literally just focusing on trying to hit my marks or inconsistent lines and see if I can keep pace with the 2. At least we're running right where we should be according to iRating. Obviously 1 spot back from where I qualified. I get the curb just a little bit there in turn 2, kicks me out a little wide, costs me a little bit of speed off of 2. Kind of botched the entry into 3 with that. It's just that inconsistency that I'm talking about, that I just cannot do the same thing twice. Really trying to spend more time to improve that. I just, for whatever reason, I'm struggling this week with doing that in this car. Check the gap to the 2 at the line. Overdrive 3 and 4 there. Comes off a 2 wide, gaps at 0.7. Gaps staying pretty consistent. So like I said, hopefully if I'm a little more efficient on tires, maybe I can start closing it up the last half of the race. We are starting to get into lap traffic. As you can see, the 6 is up ahead of the 2. Pushing a little too wide down the straightaways. Tires are starting to wear just a little bit. I have to wait a little bit longer to get on the throttle. We got 1 car coming back up on the track. That was the 7. See how this lap traffic now plays into effect with the 2 of us.
16.00.
Of course, just
Be approaching lap 20 here soon, so working our way towards halfway through the race.
You've just done a 16.02.
Got the 6 to our outside. Just going to try to clear him through 3 and 4 as best as I can. Work by him without any problems. 7's going to be the next car. Hopefully stays high. See about the 8. The 8 cuts back down in front. Don't know if it was the 7 or the 8 that made contact with us, but thankfully no incident points. I don't think I was able to work through it quite as easily as the 2, but pretty much without too many problems. 2 extends his gap a little bit as I got, like I said, I don't think I got through that lap traffic quite as fast. That's about as close as I want to get to the curb without touching it. I think I'm pushing just a little too wide in the straightaway, so need to wait just a little bit longer to pick up the throttle out of the corners. A little too tight there on the curb, just a little bit of a bump.
The gap to Smith ahead is now 0.95.
2's pulling away. It's extended about another 1/10 on us. Just trying to work this as smooth as I can.
Smith.
Continue to put down as consistent a laps as I possibly can.
16.00.
Pushed a little wide there out of turn 2 down the back stretch, so kind of ruins the entry into 3. 2 makes a few mistakes though, so trying to reel him back in. Overdrive 1, which pushes me wide through center of 1 and 2. Kills the run off of 2. You can see how much time the 2's gained. And I just drove that whole lap terribly. Oh, I gotta settle down and get it back in reins.
16.12.
A little over halfway as we're gonna be 27 down with 23 to go this time by. Just need to focus. We were catching the 2, and then I had those couple of bad laps there and I allowed them to pull back away.
The gap to Smith in front is now 0.88. You've just done a 16.09.
Just trying to work the throttle to help the car rotate through the corner. I guess I kind of drive it off the right rear a little bit more, so that way I prevent the wear on the right front and can still maintain a decent entry later on in the race.
The gap to Smith ahead is now 0.92.
2's pulling away just ever so slightly.
That's good consistency. Keep it up. Your lap time
I think
was
if I
at
can keep doing this,
16.10.
should be able to start slowly reeling them back in. The question is going to be, am I going to have enough time given the size of the margin? But I'm trying to do all I can. So I keep working the throttle, kind of poking at it to help rotate the car. I clipped the curve just a little bit too much there.
0.82.
Cutting down the gap ever so slightly to him. Just like I said, I don't know if it's fast enough given the fact that we've only got 17 to go. It's so hard to pass here too once you get to somebody. And I really don't... If I need to move him and I can get to him, I will, but I really want to try to get by him as cleanly as possible.
That was a 16.10.
Gap kind of keeps
The gap to
seesawing
Smith
back and
ahead is
forth.
now
I'll catch a little bit and then he'll
0.93.
pull away and then we'll catch it back.
That lap time was 16.15.
Hate that this is such a boring race from anybody behind, but trying to do what I can to get back to the 2 and give you guys something more interesting to watch.
That lap time was 16.10.
At least I've been able to keep them in my view the entire time. Like I said, this is probably one of my worst short tracks and most challenging for me, so didn't have high expectations coming into this.
The Captain
I just got to
Smith
keep it off
ahead
that
is now
curb.
1.02.
He was able to take advantage of that. He's pulling away. We're going to have 12 to go this time by. Gonna really need to be taking some massive chunks out of his gap soon if I want to have any shot at getting by him. We're gonna need for him to make a big mistake. Seems like he's pushing a little bit wider, but he's still able to make that wider arc into the corner work for him.
16.13.
Gap's really holding pretty constant, you know, right around 1.0, 1.1
Captain
seconds.
Smith in front is now 1.07.
It's just been slowly extending it out. That lap was a little bit worse for me.
That lap was at 16.19.
I enter a bit too shallow, which is going to cause me to have to wait to get on the throttle. It's going to cost me some time off the corner. It's better than the previous lap, but not as good as I knew I could do. Got just 7 laps to go this time by. Gonna have some more lap traffic coming up again. 7's gonna be the first car, and then the 9, who's actually 4th as a lap down, he's gonna be up ahead. That'll be our first time seeing him since he was behind us at the start of the race.
The Captain Smith.
7 gets out of the way, he stays way wide. I think he thought I might have closed up a little bit quicker than what I did.
You've just done a 16.20.
See what the 7 does so I can figure out how to get around him. He stays wide off of 4th, thank you to him.
Clear high.
Kind of drove it in a little too deep there into 1. I have just 4 to go this time by.
Ahead is now 1.27.
Not sure if we'll get to the 9 before the end of the race. Not too worried if we do. I got no shot at the 2. They'd have to spin out or have some sort of issue with the 8, honestly, for me to get by him at this point. With just 2.5 laps to go. At least it's been a pretty uneventful, easy race in terms of safety rating and anything that way, so
We'll be on the podium.
it allows me to continue building that back up.
2-3.
I should see a marginal iRating gain being the 3 car finishing 3rd.
Hold your line. Outside line's clear.
Able to work by the 8 without any problem. We got the white flag this time.
Okay, Jake. One more to go. Keep it together. We'll be on the podium. The track temperature is increasing. It's now 83.
Just gonna sit behind the 9, no reason to try to get by him. And we bring it home in 3rd place, so obviously lost a spot from the start, but starting 2nd was always going to be tough when this is such a low line dominant track. It's not the same as North Wilkesboro was, and nowhere near the pace of the 1, but glad I was able to keep it in 3rd, and really wasn't running too terribly far off from the 2. So take a look at the tires and see 80-85. Definitely leaning on the right front a little bit more. Want to do a little bit better job running it off the right rear, but not as bad as what I had in practice. So making progress, just still a lot to gain from it. Let's take a look at the laps and see if there really was any incidents. Pull it up and see. Got the 7. Gonna hit the curb and send himself wide. I don't know what was gonna happen there. 6 was running behind the 7. He's gonna get the curb. I don't know. I'm not seeing incidents where there should be. That was the 0x that we got where, let's take a look at that. I think the 7 actually kind of drove down into me. Let's look at it from a bit higher. We'll rewind it. I know I was diving in to try to stay off, but that was pretty much the normal line I've been taking, and you can see, yeah, the 7 just came down in. Honestly, it was a bit of net code, but the 7 kind of came down in, so no big deal, though. It didn't really hurt us. 9 gets loose into 1. He's going to clip the curb. I don't know why he keeps getting these curb shots. I don't think they're considered off tracks. And the 1 just gets it wide. I'm going to say that's on his cooldown lap. And he launches himself. Yeah, that was the end. So, he was the only one that had the incident point, so clean otherwise. Let's take a look at the results. Should be something positive to see, at least from safety rating, iRating. Wow, that was actually a top split. For as weak as it was, that was actually a top split. I am really shocked to see that. I thought, given the people that we had at the bottom of this race, that was going to be a single split. We just lost some people from when I signed up. So 1931 strength of field. Really, that's kind of helped by the 3 of us. You had the 1 was, almost 10,200. The 2 was over 56, and I was, over 26 at that point. So that kind of helped. That you can see the rest of them. Just one other person over 2,400, and everybody else was basically under 1,200 coming in. So managed to gain 0.56. 0.4 that's going to come from the whole number roundup. So really it was like 0.16, but gets me out of the 1.0. So at a minimum, if I can keep it this way, at least not getting demoted at the end of the season. Still a long, long way from where I want to be, but glad to get another clean win. And again, got 30 in the iRating, so it was never going to be real big given the strength of the field, but certainly going to take that. Was about just a little over a tenth and a half off on the average lap, a little bit slower than the 2 up front, but I don't think I was falling off quite as bad. I just think I made a couple mistakes, and I think the lap traffic might have played a bit of a difference, but it would have been pretty tough to still get to them. We were 1.3 behind. It definitely would have been. I would have had to make some big driving improvements to be able to get there. So just 7 cars running. Like I said, 2 of them didn't even jump in. So yeah, bit of a small race. Hate that guys didn't get to see a ton, but glad to at least keep the 2 in the windshield the entire time. Try to keep competitive with them. So link for the setup will be in the description box. Definitely has plenty of time to gain out of it, but not a bad run at all. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. I'll try to get some more exciting stuff the rest of this week. And until the next one, I hope all your laps are fast, your races are clean, and your finishes are good. Thanks for watching.